Few minutes before 8, but I'm here. I'm back. I'm actually back. And we'll wait a few minutes so a few more people can show up. So grab yourself a cocktail or some tea or some whatever you're into. Snack. Chocolate covered pretzels. It's one of my favorites. Hope you're having a good Saturday, the 26th of March. Moon is in Capricorn. I think it's moving soon. Let me check. So it's moving soon into Aquarius, right? Yes. And that will be happening tomorrow. So the moon is going into Aquarius. And so from Capricorn to Aquarius is, you know, serious, hard work, and into a little bit of chaos. So I hope you're enjoying the productive weekend, because it's a productive weekend when the moon is in Capricorn. I hope you're all doing okay. Good to see you. I'm fine. The attack on Ukraine threw me way off balance. Happy Saturday. And yeah, you know, my friend, I have a really good friend who does hair, and she's been doing my hair for over a decade. And yesterday she was just like, let's just chop it off. And I'm always like, whatever. It's really good if you can trust your hairdresser. That's a good thing. All you ladies out there, maybe the men too, got to be able to trust your hairdresser. Anyway, I appreciate that I have a good friend who does a good job. And thank you. So I have lots of things. There's lots of things right now on the domestic front that are kind of came to the forefront of the news. So we do want to look at that. You know, as you know, I'm not reading. Thank you for all the lovely compliments. Glad I came on. The good things in the news. Good things in the news. The guides just told me to say good things in the news. Okay, well, let's start there. The good things in the news are the side effect of all the bad things are there is a unity that's starting to happen. There's a unity. There's a sense of, through the challenges and the tumult and the horrible stuff, we have to pull together because there's no other way, right? And we're going to take a look at what's going on. We're going to take a look at, not too much, but into like Putin and what's going on in his energy and his demeanor and all that. It's interesting to me that Putin is leaning in the direction of Fox. So Fox and Putin's propaganda are very much in alignment. Putin today, I just got through reading a little bit about, right now Putin is talking about to his Russian people that watch him, that's all they have to watch. He's telling the Russians that we're in a culture war and that America's trying to cancel Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff and, you know, like, so Putin's actually claiming that the Western world is canceling Russia. Does it sound familiar? It's amazing, the parallels between Fox and Putin's stuff they're saying. We want to look at tonight a little bit about what's going to happen with Tuckums. As I have my little list here. Feel free to put up your questions. What's going to happen to Tuckums? So I'll put that on my list. Tuckums, that's what Joy Reid calls him. I don't want to forget to remind you that Grassroots of Democracy is growing. Part of the reason that I really do have to come back more frequently now that the shock of what's going on is still shocking, but it's kind of like, okay, this is the new norm. Grassroots of Democracy is an organization that I formed. It's pretty loose right now in terms of we don't have a website yet or anything. We're not like a .org yet. But what Grassroots of Democracy is about is us coming together to communicate through emails to people that, organizations that need to be communicated to, like corporations that are funding Fox and that kind of thing. The United States Postal Service, DeJoy is still in power. DeJoy is still planning to save money at the U.S. Postal Service by dismantling mail sorting machines, more of them, and by removing more mailboxes. So we're on it with the DeJoy situation. So Grassroots of Democracy we're doing good work, and I want you to join if you haven't already, and thanks to you who have joined. So we meet every Thursday, 7 to 8 Eastern time, and on Zoom every single week. We're on our 8th week, so we're going on months now. And the only requirement is that you want to help save democracy. On Saturdays, we've started doing what I call an email-a-thon, and the email-a-thon is like, I kind of modeled it after what Autumn does on Black and Orange Tarot with her creative sprints. And what we're doing is 25 minutes. It's kind of like being at the library where we just get down, we do our email writing every Saturday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. So Eastern time. So that's all on Zoom. Please join us. Send an email to grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com and just type AYE in the subject line, which is how they vote in Congress. So that's what's going on with us, really getting on the bandwagon to save democracy. And yeah, okay, good. I'm glad you're putting your questions up. I'll catch as many as I can. Bragg, yeah, you're mentioning things I forgot to write, but I meant to look at. So somebody wonders if somebody's gonna win the Nobel Peace Prize. What, Zelensky? It's a little soon for that. Okay, so that's Grassroots of Democracy, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Save Soil, Sadhguru's initiative. He's right now, that's Sadhguru. He's on a motorcycle trip through Europe to save the planet's topsoil, which we need in order to have food, quite frankly. Let's get started, shall we? And I'm actually going to pull a rune card, which is something new. I'm going to pull a rune card for the general gist of the weekend. And thank you for joining me and us. I'm recognizing a lot of you from the show with Corey. A lot of names, a lot of familiar names, and people asking questions. We did a video last night, so it's up there on my community page, or go to Bridge Cape Ann. So our rune card for the evening, we'll say for the weekend, is pronounced Naudhies. These are runes. You might know something about runes. They're from the Viking times. Very accurate. Okay, so this is about fate, a wheel of fortune, death, the sun. We're going to see a lot when the moon goes into Aquarius. We're going to start to see a lot of big shifts. I'm not going to say what it's going to be just yet. We're going to see a lot of shifts on the world stage, and we saw that today with Joe Biden getting up, and he gave a remarkable speech. I really do feel people channeling through Joe Biden. The moon's going into Aries. I see Aquarius. I see, isn't tomorrow the 27th? I definitely see the moon going into Aquarius. So Biden today on the world stage, unless I'm not seeing it right. So Biden today on the world stage, I see the tarot. This rune card is saying the tarot cards that are associated are Wheel of Fortune, Death, and the Sun. So things will be illuminated over the next few days. We're going to see lots of big shifts, and we're going to see the Wheel of Fortune changing things for the good. It feels good, and nowadays good is a relative term. I feel like I'm screwing up my astrology. New moon in Aries. Yes, there's a new moon in Aries coming up. It was an amazing speech. I was working, but it was. I did check it out. I did go to YouTube. Isn't it great we have YouTube? Isn't it great we have all these ways of getting information? Joe Biden is rising to the task. He is really meeting the moment. And all of us out in the world who feel like oh, we'll never get our dreams, we'll never get this, it's taken so long. Look at Joe Biden. You know, it takes as long as it takes, and he had the 50 years of experience in government, meeting all these world leaders. They know him personally. This is a big deal. And if you ever have, like, if you ever become overwhelmed with fear and anxiety and worry about what's going on, if you can get into your spiritually based thinking, if we had somebody right now who was in the White House who was incompetent, it would be very dire right now. If January 6th had succeeded in taking down our government, it would be very dire right now. What's happening right now is illuminating, like the rune card said, sun. It's illuminating and highlighting and putting a spotlight and a magnification on what we really need to see in terms of, I mean, we don't want to see the horrors of war, but what we need to see in terms of how fragile democracy is. So the good news is, when we wake up, we can make a difference. And I have faith in a higher power, partly because we have somebody in the White House that knows what he's doing. Thank God. That's, in a nutshell, thank God Joe Biden is president, because, oh my, there is a God in heaven. One thing that the guides, kind of gave me this week was that we see people suffering and we have a lot of guilt, because I don't know what, yeah, the moon is in Aquarius. We have a lot of guilt because we're not losing our homes, and we have enough to eat, and we have water to drink, and so there's a lot of guilt that comes up. And the guides did tell me we've all had past lifetimes with that level, with that degree of suffering. I'm just saying, it's just a piece of information, like we all do have lifetimes where we have been in wars, we have been in the Holocaust, perhaps, we have all suffered. Our souls have all suffered. Yeah, Trump did nothing but talk about himself. And I was doing a reading with Corey yesterday on Joe Biden. Definitely check that out. I don't know why our sessions are so long, but it's a 90-minute session. But I did take a look at Joe Biden in our reading yesterday, and I saw that he was being shown to be really selfless. And the reading I was doing, I don't remember what the question was, but it was like he's really selfless. Joe Biden is not out there to like, oh, look at me, how great I am. I mean, the man has a stutter, he has a speech impediment, and it takes a lot for him to get up there and give a big speech. And it's just, I'm so proud. And he's actually giving us presentations and speeches that make us proud. I think Obama has done that too. I mean, I know for me, but I think Obama had that effect too, where it made you kind of proud that he was intelligent and he made sense. And I always like to listen to Obama because I always learned something when I listened to Obama. So Biden's experience, man, absolutely true. You can't put a price on it. It's unbelievable how important his role is right now. We are living in times that just surpass what we've ever been through in history. So I'm going to take a look at 3 cards. As I'd said before, I don't predict the outcome of the war situation. That's just my own personal guidance. It has nothing to do with other psychics doing readings on the war. It's totally fine. Totally fine. We all have our own various ways of, or various, guidance. And that was just mine. And that's all there is to it. So I'm looking at what's, there's a lot more destruction coming, but in the face of it, the 7 of Pentacles is, Biden's being really moved by what he's seeing. So that's making him come across as even more empathetic and even more genuine. And it's like his empathy and him feeling the pain that other people are feeling is kind of transferring through the media. We're picking up on it on on our collective pain. The Three of Swords is it's massively disappointing. We do know that there are going to be people from Ukraine, refugees coming to America, and I feel like that's going to make us a better people. I feel like having those Ukrainian refugees come to America, this has been happening. This is what America was founded on. We're really kind of reliving our history, or kind of relearning our history. There's a lot that we don't really think about as citizens in terms of our world history, and we really are in a time where we're having to learn a lot, or relearn a lot, or refresh our history. This is a time that, you know, when these refugees from Ukraine come in, we're going to see America in a different, just come into a different way of being. The Princess of Cups, brand new. Receptivity, softness. Oh, you're from the Navajo Nation. Yeah, so this is, you know, it's beautiful. It's like mother, you know, mother moon, sister moon. It's very nurturing energy. It's really beautiful energy. It's really, you know, when you see those babies that come as refugees to this country, I mean, we're going to see a lot in the news about this. We'll see a lot of video of this, and it's going to make us feel better. It's actually going to make us feel better collectively as a nation that we can help. Because there's nothing worse than feeling like, oh my God, those people are suffering and there's nothing I can do. That's what's been so exceptionally traumatizing, to see what they're going through. And it, you know, it's very, very, very difficult, as we all know, to see people suffering. It's one thing if you can do something about it, that helps everyone. But if you can't do anything about it, it's very, very, very extra traumatizing. So having those refugees come to America, and I see more than, I think he said 100,000. I don't know if I have that number right. I think there's going to be more than that. I think that's kind of a starting point with refugees from Ukraine coming here. There's a softening in America. There's going to be a softening. This is going to kind of soften the edges. We've been very edgy during this, you know, the war being in the forefront. What's been going on, you know, in the other news is that we've had 9 mass shootings that have kind of gotten lost in the shuffle of the news about the war. But I do feel a shift coming, and it's incremental, but the shift that's coming is this, it's a tipping point of people that care, people that are loving, people that are spiritually based, in the sense that they recognize I'm a spirit, you're a spirit, kind of good Samaritan energy. We're going to see a lot of that, and and we'll be participating as individuals in that. And it's going to create an energy of healing that at least we have it to draw upon. We need to be seeing depictions of human kindness. I mean, that Jose Andre, I think I have his name right, the world that feeds the world rescue, somebody can tell me the name of his organization. He goes to areas where there are natural disasters and war zones and feeds the people that are suffering. So more of that will make us feel, as individuals and collectively in America, will make us feel like we want to be part of that too. So you heard it here. This is really going to happen. I know it's hard to believe sometimes. Especially, we're going to our next topic, especially when you see Ted Cruz. Segue. There's no good segue, right? Where's my little notepad here? My clipboard. Let's switch to the hearing. The World's Kitchen. Thank you. There's a lot of people that deserve a medal. So let's switch topics momentarily to the hearing. It's not funny. I know I shouldn't laugh, but it was. I'm laughing at the hearing for Ketanji Brown Jackson, because of the the ludicrous nature of it, the bizarre. That hearing highlighted and put in a light that we've never seen before how bad it is. And it wasn't even just ridiculous. It was offensive. It wasn't just ridiculous, it was offensive, it was appalling, and it was embarrassing. And it's really good to catch it on late night, because at least we can laugh about the lunacy of it all. I just read that Ted Cruz's children went to an anti-racist private school in Texas. I don't know which one, but to have him calling for KBJ, I love that they call her KBJ. To have him calling her, for critical race theory. I mean, they're just making stuff up at this point. It was highly hypocritical and craziness. Did I say something bad? This is for entertainment purposes only. I think I'm safe so far. I didn't sing any songs that have copyrights yet. So and Lindsey Graham, I mean, it was so obvious. And I'm not a fan of Ben Sass, but good for him. Good for Ben Sass. Ignore Spanky, okay? This is the thing about going live. Just ignore him. So Lindsey Graham, gosh, when I tune into Lindsey Graham, do you guys remember Silly Putty? Does anybody remember Silly Putty? Lindsey Graham is so he'll just mold himself to whatever is in the moment, the thing that he thinks that he needs to do. And his behavior was so racist and so despicable. Anyway, you all saw it. You know what I'm talking about. I just want to look at what's going to happen to Ted Cruz. Let's see what's going to happen to Ted Cruz. Please ignore the troll. Please don't answer the troll. There's no, it's a lesson in life. Don't answer the troll. If somebody's bothering you, just check out. You know what I'm saying? What's going to happen to the Ted Cruzes and the Josh Hawleys? We're starting with Ted Cruz. That kind of looks like the energy of Ted Cruz. This is the Prince of Cups. He's got more slime up his sleeve. Ted Cruz has more slime up his sleeve. He doesn't know when to stop. He has no filter. He obviously has no filter, but he has no brakes. So Ted Cruz is going to keep on going. However, I see Ted Cruz, I'm not sure. Does anyone know when he's up for re-election? Anybody know when Ted Cruz is up for re-election? I'm just asking the pendulum. Yeah, Lindsey Graham is like Silly Putty. I'm asking the pendulum, is Ted Cruz going to be re-elected? And it is saying no. One thing that we are gaining from, one thing that's happening as a side effect, I want to say, about what's going on with people in Ukraine fighting so hard to save their country, is that we will have to stand up strong. 2024, I don't see him winning. We will have to stand up strong against the idiots. We cannot just stand by and let it happen. So this is Ted Cruz. He's got more nefariousness up his sleeve. So we have to learn how to deal with nefariousness, and we have to learn to not stand for it. So the Ace of Wands is, this feels like the January 6th committee. It feels like the January 6th committee has a lot of evidence against Ted Cruz and the King of Pentacles. Somebody's gonna loom over Ted Cruz. There's something that's gonna loom over him, and he won't be able to hide anymore. Here's him trying to hide, here's all the evidence around January 6th that they have against Ted Cruz. And the guys are saying they have text messages of his, just like Mark Meadows. And we'll get to Jenny Thomas. And the King of Pentacles is he will be, something's looming over Ted Cruz that he doesn't want us to see. So we notice that when there's something that, this is out of the Trump playbook, when there's something they don't want you to see, then they say something completely ludicrous and they do something completely ridiculous, so you'll be distracted, so you won't pay attention to their criminality. So he plugged his Ted Cruz has a podcast? Gosh, those people, I'm telling you, and the guides are giving this to me right now. The more you're fighting for democracy, even the energy of you fighting to save democracy, being very much of an activist, the more we are fighting for democracy, the energy of that, no matter what you're doing, you might send like 5 emails a week or whatever, the less their energy is able to encroach upon our country and our democracy. The guides are giving that to me very clearly. The more active we are in saving democracy, the less energy they will have. It's like we let the air out of their ugly tires. Josh Hawley, shall we look at him? And he was attempting to call out Ketanji Brown Jackson for lesser sentences as she gave, and I guess he must have been a prosecutor. I don't really spend my time reading the biography of Josh Hawley, but apparently it was like the pot calling the kettle black, and the hypocrisy is mind-boggling. It's completely mind-boggling. So let's look at what's going to happen with Josh Hawley. We know they have tons of evidence against him via the January 6th committee, because he was definitely a part of that. And we'll take a look too at what's going to happen with that committee, when the hearings are going to start and all that. So this is Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley is doing behind closed doors deals, or attempting to. I don't feel like they're working. He has behind closed doors deals, but the guides are saying that he's been working behind closed doors on his nefarious deals. Josh Hawley has, but they've stopped working, which kind of reminds me of the energy of Putin helping Trump until Trump was no good to him. I really do get that. So that's Josh Hawley. Justice is coming for Josh Hawley. The Six of Swords. We're going to see a lot of pushback from the GOP nefarious criminals. We're going to see a lot of pushback, but this is the Six of Swords, and this 6 is about January 6th. So I'm being told that the January 6th is Josh Hawley's downfall. And the more we see the damage that's being done, the complete demolition and destruction of Ukraine, the harder we will fight. This is not a time that Americans are going to be like, oh, I think I'll just watch Netflix and just forget about it. I was reminded by the guides today, I just got to tell you, because this is a really important message. The people that, and I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just saying in general, people that are too busy with their lives to do something to save our democracy, we have to remember the reason that you have the lifestyle, we have the lifestyles that we do, and we have that busyness, and we've got stuff going on. The reason that we have our lives is because of democracy. So we all have to, remember when Ketanji Brown Jackson said she believes that we must all invest. I really took that as we need to invest in our democracy and in our future. They go hand in hand, obviously. So seeing how damaging the Josh Hawleys and the Ted Cruzes and the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Lauren Bobbitt and the what's his name, the Gomez, no, not the one who had that animation of Marjorie Taylor Greene, not Marjorie Taylor Greene, AOC. Gosar. Those people represent the evil similar to the evil that Putin is. That's what they represent. So we will do everything we can. When you recognize the people in Ukraine, when we recognize the people in Ukraine were living their lives just as we are. And then they lost what they had. And they made it very real to us, what we stand to lose. So nobody can be too busy to save our democracy, because we'll lose that busy lifestyle where we can focus on our own stuff. We'll lose that. So we have to fight to save it. I hope that made sense. It made sense to me. And the third little reading here is going to be about Lindsey Graham, temperance. He's kind of treading water right now. Lindsey Graham is kind of treading water. Doing a little dance. Lindsey Graham, the visual on that was pretty funny. Lindsey Graham is doing a little dance. He does like dancing around the truth. Lindsey Graham can't handle the truth. And the King of Pentacles. Oh, this is interesting because the King of Pentacles came up twice now around these people. I really think that this is about justice. This is about justice. Came up for both of them. Okay, let me see. Does this represent the DOJ, the King of Pentacles? Is this representing the DOJ? That's what I'm getting, yes. Whenever I think about Merrick Garland, I think he's going to have helpers. So it's not going to be Merrick Garland like directly in the limelight. It's going to be Merrick Garland delegating. I always get that. The bottom line. Oh, that's a good way to put it. The bottom line. The bottom line is they're treasonous. The bottom line is they're treasonous criminals. They're traitors to the United States of America. I did hear, and I want to find out more about it, that Adam Kinzinger, and I heard this on Milu's show, he mentioned it, and it really, it really got my attention, because I'm on Country First with Adam Kinzinger. I'm a member of that, and so it's Country First if you want to go. I heard that Adam Kinzinger is really working to take down Tucker Carlson, and I mean Tucker Carlson is a treasonous criminal who's Putin, it's Putin's friend, who's supporting autocracy and murderous dictatorship. So that's one of the projects we're working on at Grassroots of Democracy too. Let us practice our ability to block out negativity. If you see a troll, don't pay attention. Don't read it. Just don't read it. I think that's a very valuable thing in life for us to practice and do. Okay, so let's go to Bragg. I mean, do you agree with me? If something's bothering you, there's no need to respond. Net neutrality. Let's go first to the Bragg situation, and then we'll go to whether net neutrality will happen. I can't emphasize how much this Russia-Ukraine situation is putting the spotlight on the damage of false information. It really is. It's putting the spotlight on a lot of things, but on false information and how it can ruin a nation. False information can ruin a nation. It's my songwriter self coming out. So let's see. Bragg was threatened. That doesn't justify what he didn't do. I heard that the evidence was being returned to the people that provided the evidence against Trump, which I thought was bizarre. I heard that. And then I heard it's not over yet. Okay, so what we're going to look at is that whole Bragg situation. The coward. I've heard people call him the coward. But I don't think it was just cowardice. I think Bragg was given some money. Okay, entertainment purposes only. This is just based on my psychic facts. I see money changing hands with that Bragg situation. I see, like, we'll give, and it looks like millions, entertainment purposes only. It looks like millions. The Six of Swords keeps coming up, which tells me that the prominence of the January 6th committee is going to be kind of sort of shadowing all these people, Trump first and foremost, right? So it doesn't mean that the case in New York won't move forward that's going to take down the Trump organization. It doesn't mean that's not going to move forward, because it is. I'm picking up some very determined prosecutors that by hook or by crook, they're going to make sure that Trump is accountable for not paying his taxes, for one thing. And then the temperance card. Yeah, okay, so the temperance card is, they're working it out. The justice system in New York, they're working it out. This is not a dead issue. This is still, this is the image the guides are giving me. When you have like a campfire and you're like having a nice time around your campfire, and it's almost that season, right? And the fire starts to go down. Then before you know it, all you have is coals, because you weren't really tending to the fire. And then you grab some twigs and some kindling and you throw them on the fire. This is a feeling that I get around the New York City, the New York. I see Letitia James really on it. And I see some prosecutors almost like they're the tinder that goes in, the kindling that goes in the fire. And it's going to be reignited. Yes, I think he'll get pushed out of office. I see his standing in law. I almost see him leaving the country. I almost see Bragg, not because he's forced to leave the country. It's more like going to live on an island somewhere, because he doesn't want people to associate him with being a chicken and that was treasonous. He betrayed the American people. So this is, New Yorkers hate Bragg, and I just feel like, there are so many people that are so angry at Bragg that he's probably gonna move out of the country. Like, not like he's committed a crime, just like, I can't handle this. It reminds me, if you don't come from this area, there was a long, long time ago when we were all wishing that the Red Sox would win the World Series, or that we would win the World Series, and then because I'm in my psychic brain, the name's not coming to me, but somebody, I think in center field or second base or something, let the ball go through his legs. Who was that? Anyway, and he lived the rest of his life being mocked, and the poor guy, he passed away a few years ago. But the Red Sox didn't win the World Series because he didn't catch the ball, basically. So the reason that I'm saying that is because that man, the rest of his life, the poor guy, it was just a baseball game and anyone can make a mistake. But he was identified with that his whole life, and it'll come to me as his name as soon as we get off the air. That's coming to me because I'm seeing the Bragg situation where he's not going to be able to hold his head up high because of what he didn't do. And it's going to be better for him to leave the country, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I don't know what he has for family and everything. So that's the situation there. But let's ask the cards, what's going to happen to Trump in New York? Very challenging situation for Trump in New York. Very challenging. Right now, he's trying. The guy's just saying, know how, like, recently he's like, I'm suing Hillary Clinton. Who else is he suing? For crazy stuff that doesn't make any sense. He's suing Hillary Clinton for associating him with Russia in the 2016 election, which has Mueller report all over it, because it's crazy. If Trump actually is filing a lawsuit against Hillary Clinton for making a connection between him and Putin, he's lost his mind. He's lost his, I know, it's to divert attention, like that's the Trump playbook, but he's lost his mind because he will be in such a, he doesn't think it through. That opens up the Pandora's box of all the evidence about that's in the Mueller report against him, which will prove that he was in bed with Putin and the couple of women. Not going to say anything about that. Anyway, so it's challenging for Trump in New York. He's going to try to, well, here's the thing. Because I feel like Trump knows that there are these prosecutors in New York that are not in the limelight right now, that are going to be working hard to make sure that he has to pay a price for his criminality. And the King of Cups, oh yeah, I see a male prosecutor who's just like, this is the energy. It's like, get out of my way, I'm coming through. Everyone out of my way, I'll prosecute him. I see that. I see somebody coming in, it feels like a male. Now, Letitia James is still on board, but I feel there's a male coming on board in this Trump case in New York that's really just like, get out of my way, I'm coming through, he's done. Wonder who that is. I wonder who that is. Does anybody have any guesses? It's definitely a male who's coming in because Bragg didn't do it. And boy, you know, it's just like this, what's going on with these people getting away with stuff? Well, not totally, because we don't know how, we don't have the end of the story yet, because the end of the story hasn't arrived. But what it's doing is it's making people really angry, exceptionally angry, and exceptionally angry, and so there's going to be so much, a level of motivation to make sure that justice happens like we've never seen. Like we didn't even know we had it in us. Well, Cuomo was set up. And I'm not saying what Cuomo did was right. I'm just saying that he was set up. That's all I'm saying. That's a yes. That's a yes. They're going after Trump. They're going after. Is somebody responding to Spanky? Stop it. Stop it. Ignore people that are trying to get you to pay attention to them for nefarious reasons. Okay. So that was a Bragg situation. What was the next question? I want to ask, well, just since I mentioned Cuomo, I always thought that Cuomo was set up. And once again, I'll repeat, it wasn't right what he did. And compared to Trump, it was practically nothing. Compared to Trump, relatively. I feel like Cuomo is going to do a podcast with his brother, who also was set up. Have they already? It's almost like if I go to the podcast, I feel like I'm going to see the Cuomo brothers. There was a show many years ago called Car Talk. And it just reminds me of Car Talk. Anybody familiar with that? Hillary did win. Yeah, Hillary did win. It's just that Putin got in and, you know, messed with the social media and all that. We've been over that, right? So they could open a restaurant. They could open a good, somebody has heard of Car Talk. Yeah, one of them died. I don't know if the other one did. They were hilarious, but I mean, you might know nothing about cars, and they were so funny. They'd have you rolling on the floor. And they would have, like, people would call in, and they'd be trying to describe their car problem. And then they'd go, well, can you make the noise that it sounds like? And then it was hilarious to watch people, to hear people, because it was on the radio, try to make the sound of their car that was acting up. One died. Yes, one of them died. I don't remember their names. And it was great information. I know I'm off topic, but That's the way it goes. But boy, do they have you laughing. It's really important. So the Cuomo brothers, I feel like the Cuomo brothers are going to do something together. They're kind of good. They're good brothers, like they're friends. So the, let's see. I'm actually looking at the cards to see what the question was. Cuomo? Okay, as far as the Cuomo brothers, the Eight of Cups, they are, well, you know, I got to say something about Chris Cuomo and his brother. They both are sorry. They both are sorry. They're both sorry for what they did. They regret it and they wouldn't do it again. I definitely feel they just wouldn't. They'll watch what they say around women. They'll watch what their body language around women. I just feel like they're sorry that they really upset their mother. Put it that way. When your mother's Italian, you don't want to upset your Italian mother because she'll give you the evil eye look and you'll be like, yikes. It's not good to get that. It's not good to get the look. Yeah, here they are, Prince of Swords and Prince of Pentacles. This is the Cuomo brothers. They sound a little like a circus act. So it would be funny. Anyone else would be in jail. Well, I just compare it to like what Trump, you know, I'm just saying by comparison, it's, you know, relatively, it's like they didn't do anything compared to what Trump did. I'm just saying by comparatively. I miss Chris Cuomo on CNN. I liked him. So the Three of Pentacles is they'll be rebuilding because this is a rebuilding card. I think they'll have their own news. And sometimes, you know, when changes happen like that, there's a reason. So it might be that they're better off in a different arena. Speaking of circuses. I want to look at Marsha Blackburn. Okay, so, oh, is a robot? Oh, that's interesting to know. So don't be talking to a robot. What's the use? What's the point of that? Yeah, yeah, you know, and it's not like they were calling people names or bullying or, you know, I mean, Andrew and Trump got into it, but that's what Trump would do. He's a bully. He would try to start fights. So it's like that. Shepard left Fox. Yeah, I remember that. He was good too. And then Chris Wallace left Fox also. They may do a podcast. I feel like they're going to do a podcast. And it probably doesn't take a psychic because you would kind of deduce that, right? Marsha Blackburn. Okay, so we all know who Marsha Blackburn is, yes? Now I want to go back and listen to Card Talk if I can find some episodes. Marsha Blackburn, we know who Marsha Blackburn is, right? Oh, thank you. You know, the compliments are like a bonus. Click and clack. Yes, that's what it was. Marsha Blackburn. She sat there and kind of blamed Ketanji Brown Jackson for high crime. Can I just say something about that? Who are the people that are for the guns? You can't... KBJ, we keep wanting to say RBG. KBJ has nothing to do with the crime rate being high. We talked about this last night, Corey and I, on our show. But, you know, the meme moment for Marsha Blackburn was, what's your definition of a woman? They're awful. You know, and I knew they were bad, but they really took it to the bottom of the barrel, the slimiest. I really was shocked that they took it that far. I knew it was going to be bad, but I was, even knowing it was going to be bad, I'm still like jaw drop. I can't believe how heinous their behavior was. So Marsha Blackburn saying, what is your definition of a woman? Can you define a woman? And good for Ketanji not taking the bait. Bill Buckner, thank you so much. That poor man, he never lived that down. People can be vicious when it comes to sports. So, I used to live in Tennessee, you know, and I love Tennessee, but man, they need to get rid of her. She was just the kind of, you know, it makes you feel bad and for being a woman in a way, you know, like women aren't really that bad, are they? Some are, like anybody. She's gonna have to rebuild herself because this actually ruined her reputation. She was smart to answer the way she did. Asking her to define what's her definition of a woman. And don't even get me started about the Roe versus Wade BS, because that was despicable. Who is Clarence Thomas in a past life? Well, we're going to read about what's up with him in this life. Yeah, a disgrace. Marsha Blackburn is a disgrace to women. There, I said it. We have a First Amendment right to say what we want. Okay, Six of Wands. I think she's going to be having a rough time in Tennessee the next time she's up for election. They were despicable. I'm telling you. Yeah, the Seven of Wands and the Six of Wands. She's going to have to work her way out of this nonsense. I don't think that boded well for her. I actually, you know what? And if you're a tweeter, I'm going to have to start tweeting. If I see it, there's a lot of car talk fans. If you're into tweeting, I mean, get some threads going about Marsha Blackburn. She is like an insult to women. She shouldn't be allowed to be in office. Well, that's kind of true for a lot of them, right? Moving to the blue state. You're moving to the blue state? Thanks, it's a new shirt. I'm an eBay shopper. I admitted it. Love clothes, hate to shop. Online shopping is my friend. Honestly. Who has a question? Return to the 1950s. I mean, honestly. Trump's, what did I write here? New lawsuits. Okay. What's going to happen with Trump's lawsuits? I did mention it already, but let's see. They were disgusting. I think it's unanimous. They were disgusting. We have sunk so low as a nation to have allowed that. To not make sure we do everything possible. We'll make a CD. We have to do everything possible to get these Yahoo clowns out of office. I mean, just Ron DeSantis comes to mind. So let's look at what's going to happen with Trump's frivolous lawsuits that are just meant to distract. And it's funny because his playbook is getting really, really old and it doesn't work anymore. I think it might be too soon to say if Biden's going to be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, but we can take a look at that. So what's going to happen with Trump's frivolous lawsuits? This is Trump's frivolous lawsuits. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. There's a list of losers in the Senate. We need to change that. We have to do everything we can to change that. I think Trump is using the old playbook and it's not working anymore because the Two of Swords is like being stuck, kind of a stalemate card, and it's like, this used to work. Why isn't it working? And the Tower card is this is gonna really mess him up. This is gonna mess Trump up that he's filing these lawsuits. I can't imagine what lawyer he has. The Ace of Cups. This is the people that he's suing or attempting to, file lawsuits against. They're golden. This is like a golden cup of goldenness. They're fine. It's not even going to touch them. And actually, if he goes through with these lawsuits, it's going to make the people that he's suing look better than they do. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to make them look better. It's going to be of benefit to the people that he's suing in terms of they will be seen in a more positive light. So yeah, Tower. It's not good for him. It's terrible for him. Now let's tune into what's going on in his energy. Very, when I tune into Trump's energy right now, it's like very hot. Like, you know, in the summer when it's just really hot and you can't cool down. I feel it's like almost, when I tune into Trump's energy, I get like a heat rash and a lot of, I just keep getting a lot of heat and a lot of tension in his chest. So I don't think it's going well. The Senate is disgusting. We need to change it. We can change it. We're not living in North Korea. We can change it. Join Grassroots of Democracy. Please. I shouldn't have to beg. I shouldn't have to beg. Cuba and Russia. Well, we know we can ask about, first because I have this on my list, I mean, we can ask about the dictators in the world and how they're going to fare in the next several years. But first, I want to ask about Justice Thomas. Let's go to Justice Thomas. It just hit me how many heinous people are in positions of power. We have got to, and McConnell, oh my God, the list goes on and on. If you want to get motivated, you can start making a list. Just take out a piece of paper and start making a list of all the criminals in our government, in positions of power, the senators, the congressmen, the representatives, write them all down. It's awful, and we have our work cut out for us. We really need to put the pressure on big time. So Clarence Thomas. Ginny Thomas makes my skin crawl between her and, oh gosh, it's just, yikes. Yikes. The voting machines, maybe we can look at that. Let's ask what's going to happen to Ginny Thomas first. Let's ask that first. I actually have a rubber band here, so it's hard for me to see the words here. Psychopaths are ambitious. That's true. And we don't want to be more like psychopaths, but we want to meet the moment with this great intensity and dedication. Snakes are growing out of whose hair? Ginny Thomas. That's what we're looking at, some cards about Ginny Thomas. She's holding on to a lot of secrets. Ginny Thomas is holding on to a lot of secrets. The Nine of Wands. This is, see the line behind the bars? That indicates some jail. Is she going to jail? Ginny Thomas, for entertainment purposes only, I see her with endless amounts of money. Well, nothing's endless, right? She has a lot of secrets, but I think her secrets are out because I have the behind bars card. And the Eight of Pentacles is how much money. She's got a lot of money. And one more card. The Wheel of Fortune. This is going to change. There's going to be a turn of events because of this. There's going to be a change on the Supreme Court because of this. Not just Ketanji Brown Jackson being, seated. There's going to be a big change in the Supreme Court because of this. This is a turn in the right direction. I think they will. I think the situation in Ukraine, one of the side effects of that horribleness is people are going to become very, very courageous. Oh, and I just saw somebody put that, somebody just wrote in the chat that she has a lot of wealth. I see, that's what this is. She has like an endless flow of money. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm picking up that she's tied in with fossil fuel, the fossil fuel industry, and big pharma. I don't know. I haven't seen that. A backdoor deal would make sense. If Cash Peter said that, I could see that in these cards that I just pulled. But the Wheel of Fortune, the turning Wheel of Fortune indicates that this is a change point. So that's Ginny Thomas. And let's look at Clarence Thomas. Now, Clarence Thomas had a health scare. I'm always a little suspicious when they say, oh, they're experiencing symptoms of the flu. You're like, really? All of a sudden? The flu? Isn't that what they said? Clarence Thomas was in the hospital because he had the flu? What did he have? Let's see. Yes, Trump held Ukraine's weapons and got impeached for it. The Clarence Thomas, his health. See all these domestic issues that piled up over the past 3 weeks. It keeps coming. Keep it coming. The news. Think back with me, if you like, to, I don't know, 2010, right? What were you doing in 2010? Tell me the world hasn't changed totally. Totally. Okay. That's a long question. I'll do what I can on the questions. Okay, yeah, Clarence Thomas has got some health challenges. I see problems. I see, it's too bad. I mean, it's just like he hasn't lived a good life. He's not had people's best interest at heart. It has changed immensely, hasn't it? What were you doing in 2010? Just to pick a year when things were like sort of normal. The Six of Swords, yeah, Clarence Thomas has a bunch of health problems. Now, the Nine of Wands is coming up again, so I see him being restricted. This is really about, he's not healthy. And I feel like there's a lot of congestion in his lungs. That might be what he was in the hospital for. I don't know if the report came out. You're so sick you could have died. I'm glad you didn't. You weren't done yet. The Prince of Cups. Clarence Thomas, believe it or not, I feel like whatever this health scare is that he had, he might still be in the hospital, I don't know, but was created by the stress that he's under. I really feel like he knew what they have on his wife. And I feel like what he knew, did he have COVID? Okay, that would make sense. I really feel like what he was released, okay. What he knows is the potential for prosecution stressed him out so bad that I think stress is the worst thing you can have for your immune system. Absolute worst. And the guides are telling me Clarence Thomas was up at night pacing the halls with what was coming down the pike. And speaking of that, let's look at Mark Meadows, because Mark Meadows actually, these people are all over the place, because Mark Meadows produced the incriminating text messages to Ginny Thomas. And then he left all the evidence with the January 6th committee. And then he just said, I'm done. He must have talked to Trump. So let's look at what's going to happen to Mark Meadows. And how about Peter Navarro? I'm telling you, these people have lost their minds. Yeah, they're treasonous. We can't let these people get away with treason. There's so many. They need a special prison built just for them. Wouldn't that be awesome? A special prison for all the traitors. We can call it Traitorville. There was a time a while back when somebody was saying to call them traitor tots. How about Traitor Town? They all need we need one prison for them, like Matt Gaetz, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like Madison Cawthorn. My God. Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows is under a ton of stress. Abbott is a dictator, absolutely true. Mark Meadows is under a ton of stress. He really doesn't know what to do. When I think of Mark Meadows, I feel like he's nauseous. I feel like he's got really big stomach upset from all the stress. So Madison, it's a bot. Anyway, this is, the star is America. Yeah, this is about America. Marianne at Revealing Light calls the star card the America card, and I resonate with that. So there's the America card, and they have a lot in Mark Meadows. I actually feel like Mark Meadows is going to eventually, not totally cave, but do what's going to create the least amount of damage to himself. So you might find that we might see that he decides to cooperate to some degree, because this feels like cooperation from Mark Meadows, not because he cares and that he's feeling remorse. God, no. Because it's all about him and not having a big, you know, like, you know, he's full of himself. It's all about him. He doesn't want to have a big case against him. So, Reptile Freeze. Thank you. It's not a really hairdo, it's just shorter. But I was surprised at how much she cut off. It's spring. Get a haircut, it's spring. To save his own butt. Yeah, that's what I meant. He's more interested in saving his own butt, which is the only reason that he would cooperate at all. And I think that's where he was initially. He had just written that book, right? Remember Mark Meadows had just written that book where there's all this incriminating stuff? They're not thinking straight. They're totally not thinking straight. It's crazy. So there's Mark Meadows, Clarence Thomas, Jenny Thomas. I want to see what's up with Matt Gaetz. I mean, for them to be at that hearing, you know, just pummeling KBJ with all these things about pedophilia, and, you know, it's not tough enough on pedophilia. And, you know, they know how many of them have gotten away with that type of thing. Disgusting. Really despicable. What they did to her was just... She's earned her coming position. So, let's see. Matt Gaetz. I don't think I've read much about Gitmo recently, so is overcrowded? No, I'm saying they should build a special prison or renovate a prison that's not in use anymore and send all the traitors, and we'll call it Traitor Town, to the prison. Matt Gaetz, the Chariot, something's going to happen soon with him. He's still got people with money paying off lawyers and judges. That's what's going on with Matt Gaetz. And one more about Matt Gaetz. Now, this Wheel of Fortune, I'm going to ask, because I keep getting, there's so much money behind these people, it's terrible. Okay, does the Wheel of Fortune mean that Matt Gaetz is going to have a turn of events for the worst? Yes. That's why the Wheel of Fortune is coming up. And it's come up a couple times, meaning that there's going to be a turn of events. I'm kind of feeling like a sudden shift where all the people that are criminal, they kind of like all at the same time. The people that are criminal, they're just like, oh, they're all in trouble. They're actually really all in trouble. They are. Seriously. Like, they're gonna be paying the price. When people, so anyway, if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and ask. Build a big wall. Build a big wall for them, and then they can, you know, they can have their own little trader town. What do you think? That'd be great. A list of politicians that actually help the American people. Yeah, we really need to get on it, people. We need to change this this country for the better. I know there's a gazillion next, you know, things to ask. Let's look at COVID. Let's look at COVID. She didn't take the bait. She was really... Let's look at COVID real quick. The Satan is the worst. So, let's look at COVID. What's going to go on with COVID? You know what? When people are mean, and bullying, and you ignore them, that's the best revenge. COVID. Very quickly, we're going to see some kind of a... This card keeps coming up a lot. Very quickly, we're going to see COVID come upon us. The new variant, which I've been talking about. Whenever I see the new variant, it looks like twins to me. And this is interesting because there's twin horses here. So COVID is coming in quickly. And we're going to have, so we have this new variant coming in that I keep seeing as twins. So I'm not really sure why I keep seeing it that way. But it's not as bad as Delta. It's not as bad as Omicron. I think I never said that right. And what's going to happen is the Republicans voted down any more COVID funding for vaccines if we need them. The Republicans voted that down. But I see a turnaround in that where they're going to go, no, maybe we should. Maybe we should fund, the Republicans will be like, I think they get a little scared. So it's going to turn things around a little bit so that we do have money to fund. But I'm not picking up absolute devastation like when COVID first came and we were like, what? Seriously, remember that? What? I definitely see it coming. It's coming. But you know what? We're kind of used to it now, right? But there's only one troll. I'm not gonna like lose my mind over it. It's good practice. Ignore the negative voices. If you guys start complaining, I'm done. I'm sorry. There's only one troll. So, I don't like complaining on my channel because this is a labor of love and it's absolutely free and we're going over an hour, okay? 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 Love you. So that was COVID and I'm going to take 2 more questions. I'm not reading on the war. Do I see a booster shot for 65? Yes, actually, what I read on yesterday was... Thanks, Glenn. What I was reading on yesterday at Corey's show was that the variant... I'm trying to remember what I said. You might have to go look at it. The variant was going to be not as intense and that we would have outbreaks of COVID again. But it was because people weren't masking. Okay, let's look at Abbott. No, it's the reason that this variant, what I'm getting is the reason that this new variant is going to be a problem at all is because people are just like, no caution, throw caution to the wind entirely. It's just like that 150% of reckless abandon. That's the reason that we're going to have this variant affect us, but it's never going to be like it was when it first came. And what I said, speaking of the mandates, what I said was I don't see mandates and I don't see lockdowns because of the backlash, because people can't behave. You know what I'm saying? They just can't behave. So Abbott, the amount of global climate change disaster and catastrophe this coming spring and summer and fall will boggle your brain. Just back to the COVID issue. What I did say was there would be enough. See how I just saw the money turning around, that the Republicans voted no more COVID aid, but when this new variant comes, they're going to kind of adjust that. So there'll be enough shots for the people that are immunity compromised and the elderly and like that. I did see that. So Abbott, yeah, I just really see that the ridiculousness around the mask mandates and the lockdowns in terms of people getting violent, that's what I'm referring to as ridiculousness. There's no need for that. childlike behavior, and that's an insult to children for me to say that. There will be vaccines for people that are compromised, but we're not going to have like vaccines for everybody. That's just what I see in terms of why people are going to get COVID. And Greg Abbott. Okay, I know. It's really like Abbott and DeSantis, I always kind of put them in the same boat because they're both fascists. Let's see what's going to happen to Abbott. We're just going general with Abbott. What's going to happen with Abbott? When's he up for re-election? Yeah, the virus, yeah, definitely the COVID is just going to keep mutating. But I really sense it that it's going to get weaker. Greg Abbott, believe it or not, it's the women that are going to take down Greg Abbott. This is interesting. I just get it really clearly. 2022. Oh, okay. Work hard. Get on Beto's side. You know, just do what you can in Texas. People in Texas got to activate. You know, I know some do, but you know, when I was just talking about how cold it was going to be in the winter in Texas and they were going to lose power, it wasn't as bad as it was last year, the winter before. But, you know, people were freezing to death and really nobody got activated to do something about it. But anyway, as far as Abbott goes, the women are going to take Abbott down. Send Cruz out the door with Abbott. Yeah. Let me look at... No re-election. No, the women will not have it. The women will not have it. The women will not have it. Beto. This is... Look at Ukraine and look at how willing you are to, and I mean you as individuals, we as individuals, look at Ukraine and ask yourself if you're willing to fight for democracy. I think I kind of already read on I always say Joe Garland. He was a famous author in my hometown. I feel like I already read on Merrick Garland because I said that I see him, Merrick Garland, delegating a lot, so he's not center stage in terms of I know he's the Attorney General, but he doesn't want to be, you know, really the one to be in the limelight. He's gathering evidence and going over papers and stuff like that. I do want to look at DeSantis. So I feel like the women are really going to rise up in Texas and get rid of... Don't talk to Spanky. They're going to get rid of Abbott. DeSantis, let's see. I'm looking at the time. It's like, have I really been on that long? DeSantis, ooh. The teenagers are going to go after DeSantis. And the ones that are voting age, look out. So DeSantis is doing this anti-gay bill. I don't know what it's technically called. So DeSantis is like trying to, I don't know, get a military police to guard the polls, and it's just ridiculous. It's fascism. And to shame people that don't happen to be heterosexual, but the teenagers, oh my gosh, they're going to make such a ruckus. And I feel like it's going to, you know, the thing about these fascist types is when they feel cornered, then they get more vicious. There's a little bit of that. But I see somebody running against DeSantis that's gonna really, let's see, are they gonna win? Does anybody know who's running against DeSantis? Oh, the dark money is really revealed. Yeah, teenagers against, I like that. Teenagers against DeSantis. That's a good kind of a slogan. Raise teacher salaries. I'll believe it when I see it. He's in the dark ages, but he's in the dark. He's also in the dark. He's also working for the dark side. That's why they call him DeSatan. Who's running against him? Because I feel, okay, a female. Well, you know, it's interesting because I feel like a man is going to take down DeSantis. We shall see. Yeah, Val Demings, but I didn't know if it was if she's running for governor. It's so hard to keep track in America. Are they still making a big deal out of Hunter Biden? They got nothing new on Fox. They got something, you know, they just keep rehashing the old stupid stories. You guys getting a lot of good practice ignoring people that are awful? We're just practicing. Val's running against Rubio. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Is Val Demings going to win? Let's take a look at that. Val is running against Rubio. Yeah, I kind of knew that. Fox News is fake news. Yeah, like the same. The Fox News is being played in Russia. Hello? Tell them to move to Russia. What was the question? Whether Val Demings would win. That was the question. Yes, it looks like she will. The Princess of Cups. Six of Pentacles. And this is, I'm seeing a lot of bickering around voting in Florida. So it's gonna be hard earned. It's gonna be hard won. But I feel like against Marco Rubio, I feel like Val Demings is gonna win. Everyone's asking me what Garland is doing, what Merrick Garland is doing. He's working hard behind the scenes, and the guides are showing me all the lines are right lined up and right in place and nice and straight and really perfect. I mean, Merrick Garland he's working hard, but he doesn't like the limelight. So he's going to make sure somebody else gets in the limelight with all the information. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Robert Mueller, who never wanted to be in a hearing. So, what is this beautiful card? This is a Cosmic Tarot. See the back? I mean, you can look it up. The Cosmic Tarot. This is a really good, wonderful deck. I love this deck. I love all my decks. Are we finished? It's almost 9:30 Eastern time. So let me just sort of do my little wrap up. Garland is doing his job. We have to have faith. We have to lift our energies up as much as possible. When I figure out how to do a sing-along again, I will. I just became very aware. I was alerted by a viewer that, no, Ron Johnson, I don't think will. I want to do another sing-along, but I have to do songs that are public domain or my own songs. So we will do that. Maybe some chanting. Tomorrow, Church of Spirituality, like every Sunday, is live at 1 Eastern time. So please come. Please show up. So, and the other thing, Grassroots of Democracy, send an email to grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com and just type AYE in the subject line. I think that's everything, and I will come back more frequently. I just couldn't talk about the war. It was just not allowed. And I love you and appreciate you all. Oh, and if you want to book a reading, it's AnnetteDionPsychic@gmail.com. You're so sweet. See, it was so nice that I came on. You made my day. Namaste. See you tomorrow at Church of Spirituality, I hope. Be well. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to yourselves, please. Most people aren't nearly as nice to themselves as we really need to be. All right. Hugs and kisses. Bye.